We're at round 11 at the GNCC, the Burr Oak in Millfield, Ohio. You may say, what's up with the camera angle? Well, we're starting downhill. I promise you it will get better. The pro ladies are off and ready to tackle the track. And I am lined up on the Masters 50A. I'm on the third row, but I will be the fourth to take off due to I am on a split row. Next to take off is the Sportsman A class. There was 28 signed up for this class, so it ought to be an interesting first turn. And next is the Super Senior 45A class. There are about 9 in that class, and in my class there are 9 as well. It's going to be slick one out here today. Y'all may not be aware of a ice rink in Millfield, Ohio. Well, it's not necessarily a ice rink, but there is spots out here on this track that is just as slick with this Ohio clay, and that's going to be the biggest challenge of the day. I am on my 2020 Beta 430RR, and yes, it is a slow starter. I expect to be last. Good luck, every boy. Crap, wait for me. I was late for the party, got splashed by a 2-stroke. The Yamaha about took me out. Man, this is what it's all about. You got bikes going every which way. My goal is to try to make up as many positions as I can before I hit the woods, and I got exactly none. I did come out and walk this track the first mile today of the day of the race, and there were very little hot lines in order to make a pass. Just gotta hope people make some mistakes, and it gives me opportunities to make a pass here and there. And at the same time, not make a mistake myself. This Ohio clay is so slick. Austin told me to go right, so I went right. It's a good line. Didn't help me much. Usually, you know, you try to go as fast as you can, but on this clay, you really got to be careful. This stuff, you'll have perfect traction, and on one turn, and then coming out of the turn, there will be no traction whatsoever, and it will put you on the ground. Get some of that Ohio clay off the camera so you all can see. One of the issues we were having, or at least I was having, is that sun. Not only is it interfering with the video, well, it was also interfering with my old vision. It was kind of the shadows. I don't know what it was. The sun in your eyes. You really just couldn't see the track that well, or at least I couldn't. As always, I'm going to try to, well, I will get you a complete first lap. That way, if there's any spot on the track you all want to check out, revisit from where you've raced it, you'll be able to check that area out. And then I'll just throw in some of the highlights. I think I only got like 2.5, maybe 3 laps on this before the battery went dead on the GoPro. As I'm filling out the 4-stroke and also filling out the track, I'm starting to catch back up with the group. And the young man in front of us on the Honda, this is Chuck. Chuck and I are going to see a lot of each other today. Come on board together. And then in front of him, I believe, is Bill, and I think Michael Rizzle is in front of him, and then Dave James is leading the pack. Kawasaki. So I think about this time I'm running probably 5th or 6th. Starting to catch the class ahead of us, which is the 45A guys. They'll have a bright green sticker on their helmet, and the ladies will have a bright pink sticker on their helmet, and we have a bright orange sticker on the back of our helmet. And the Sportsman B guys, I think they are solid blue. Billy Evans is ahead of me at this point as well. So I got a lot of positions to be made up if I want to come out with any kind of finish today. But it's one of those things, the start is taken care of. It is what it is. Now you just got to calm down and find out where you can go fast. And be careful not to hit those corners where it's slick and you'll bust your beep. Well, try not to do that anyways. So we're in the woods, getting ready to come back out into the field. The bike's feeling pretty good right now. I'm feeling pretty good right now. And now I gotta try to make as many positions, or make up as many positions as I can. I believe that was the 503 machine of Billy Ackerson. He beat me at the Mountaineer. So, and Chuck's in front of us. He's on the 220. Kind of ripping up through the field, trying to get around one of the 45A guys. This was a pretty rough but pretty fast section through here. Many times I would be following a guy coming through here and watching, and I was so impressed the way they would jump and how fast they look coming through here. Now, there was options up through here. Not really great options as far as passing. But as you can see, I try to go where the guy in front of me doesn't go. But this was definitely one of the slick spots. If you can see where it's shiny, that's where you do not want to go. If you see where it's dark, there was all kinds of traction there. Hill climbs weren't too bad, mostly in turns where you really had to watch, because the four-wheelers would push all the loose clay off and leave nothing but hard packed clay. Just really had to be careful where you pushed. Come down along the road, getting ready to cross the road, and we're going to go over here close to where we're pit, or the Trail Seeker 1 is parked for our pits. This is kind of new. We've never, at least I've never came across here. Obviously this is the John Penton location, but they made a second race here. And they changed it up enough, I guess, to make it a different type of event. There's Trail Seeker 1 up there. Matt Hovetter sitting there. Never even seen me come by, I don't think. He's my cousin. That's Austin's dad. If you listen to any of my videos, Austin is mentioned a good bit. We ride together, we race together a good bit. He runs the afternoon race. So I'm catching up to Chuck here. And Michael Drizzle is in front of him. And then Dave James is in front of him. I also believe Billy Evans is still up here, if I remember correctly. But the fields were a lot of fun on this day. The off-campers, you definitely had to watch them. But you did have some traction. Now, if it was wet, it'd be a different story. Chuck got around Michael there. Now, Michael is the points leader. He's been pretty much dominating our class this year. I did actually get to ride with him a little bit at the Mountaineer. I'm finally starting to get back in half decent shape. My shoulder's starting to feel a little better. Starting to get these bikes figured out a little bit. Inside here and get lucky to get around Michael. Nice little uphill. It has a decent little jump at the top. Now the 430, my Beta 430 is completely stock. I did add the extended bladder on it, and that helped a lot on this thing. As we're coming back up out of the woods past the pits. I'm still struggling with the bike later in the race, which I should have done it for this race, but I didn't. I haven't been racing the 430 a good bit, or much at all, and I need to set the bike up stiff for the beginning of the race, and hopefully it'll feel better at the end of the race. Like coming out through here, not so much right now, but at the end of the race, these little whoop things was kicking me pretty bad. This is one of the pro women. So the last race, the Mountaineer, I had the camera angle a little too low. So I thought I'd bring it up a little bit, but now I got it just a little too high. So now I'm seeing my helmet bouncing around up here. It's really difficult to get y'all the best angles, because either you get a lot of the handlebar bouncing around, or you get my helmet bouncing around. As you all know, I'm sure you've heard everybody complain about the GoPro being mounted on the chest mount because of the AMA rule. If you watch my actual last race, which was the Mountain State Hare Scramble, I was able to use my helmet mount. It was a chin mount, and it makes such a better view for the GoPro. But we do what we gotta do in order to bring you all footage. Austin and I got up, actually it was right after the morning for the race, and he biked this entire track, at least the outer loop, and it's really not much benefit at all e-biking this track. As you can see, it's very single line, no real options. The fastest line is the main line. Every once in a while you'll have a split line, but it's only for like 20 feet. So it's pretty hard to make a pass on this track. It gets pretty rough, as you can see. It's got a bunch of whoops. It gets rutted, but today is actually one of the best conditions I've had on this track. It's either hot. I think I raced here one time, 2012, 13, something around there, and it was 102 degrees out here. Today is pretty cool for racing at the Ohio Millfield track, but it is a little breezy, but I've had a lot worse conditions on this track in the past. I actually have had, let's see, I believe that is the 411 of Bill Ackerson. Got around him, that's one more position. But I actually, I get a good sweet little hot line right there. And I get around Chuck. And believe it or not, whenever I was e-biking that, I never even seen that. That just popped out of my eye there for the last moment. But I did actually, this is not one of my favorite tracks as far as results. I've had some decent results here, and actually I've had my best result with the Gncc here, and that was second overall in the morning class. Kind of shocked me. There was a couple bottlenecks that tied some people up. Got around them pretty quick, and that made a big difference. But I'm more of a snowshoe mountaineer type of track guy. I like the rocks, the more technical. I don't necessarily like the mud, but I usually have better results in the mud. But today's not too bad. There's been times here where it seems like it's one single rut all the way around the track, and I do not do ruts very well at all. My feet is on the ground, and then this stuff gets tacky and it sticks to your boots and your legs get tired, and I'm flopping around like a fish. But today, no complaints, having a blast. Coming down in this little bottom, and it was pretty slick right here. It's just a flat, soft, slick rock. The hill climb had a lot of traction, at least this one did. The next one, it's going to cause some issues as the day goes by. Didn't like this section very much. It was pretty slick. Now there were some options that developed. This was one of them. Should have went down just a little further. And then you come back up the hill, and then there's another little option to the right. Made a couple passes there throughout the day. Right here actually, yeah. I went too far down that time. The guy in front of me did it correctly. Now this is the rocky uphill. We come right up it, no problems this time, but each time you come by, more crap got thrown off of the track and exposed like a shelf rock, and it was very slick. It actually kind of messed me up. I made a dumb decision. Now coming down this downhill, right there to the right, there was a hole, and the way the rocks were laying, it wanted to push you right towards that hole. You had to be careful. But one of my bonehead moves, spoiler alert, I made a bonehead move. Actually, I made several of them on the last lap. I got passed for a position on the last lap. I seen the guy ahead of me. I had an idea of an area that I could pass out in the field, and I went to take the inside, and one of the guys that we were lapping just stopped. And I don't think he stopped intentionally. He just messed up or something, and I ran into him, fell over, got back up, got going again, and then on that last hill climb there, I saw the guy in the position that just passed me, but there was a college boy guy, one of the college boy class riders behind him. I tried to go up above them, and the rocks, the way they were slick, I slid down and kind of landed on top of the college boy guy. He wasn't very happy with me, which I don't blame him, but he used my bike for traction, got him going, and then unfortunately after that I didn't see the gentleman, which I'll clarify a little more later on, but I didn't see him again. But then I tried another pass on a lap rider, and I went to go left, and he thought I was going right. So when he went left, it pushed me up into the woods. So that was all on the last lap, and didn't have the best last lap, but had a lot of fun out here running in this class. This class has definitely got some fast riders. I got some work to do in order to get caught up with these guys. They've been racing this series all year, and it's good just to come out here and hang out and try to be competitive with them. So with getting a bad start, it makes great video. The Mountaineer, I got the whole shot, which was the first time in a long time. But I was running my two-stroke. It's pretty fast out of the hole, and it was kind of boring the first lap as far as video footage. But this one, we'll get the whole first lap because I done made several passes. I think actually at this point I'm second, but I wasn't for sure because I didn't know who all was in front of me. You try to keep track of that. I know that I didn't pass a Kawasaki, which was Dave James, the 472, so I wasn't sure if he was ahead of me or behind me. So I just had to finish riding this lap out as fast as I can, and then when you get back to the scoring, look up and see what position you're in. Here in the morning race, there was about 350 riders tackling the track, and at this moment we're running right around 30th overall. If you've raced this race, no matter what, whether you was in the morning, afternoon, four-wheeler, youth rider, leave a comment. Let me know how you like this clay mud and some of the hints or some tips that helps you to go fast on these conditions. I'm not the best on these conditions. If it was dry, I would feel a whole lot more safe by going fast through these woods, but that's of course everybody. So just maybe if you had some pointers, or if you had some incidents, or if you hit the ground. I believe I hit the ground maybe 3 times, and every one of them obviously was my fault. I think 2 of them was on the last lap. Yeah, I'm not sure, 2 or 3 times. Nothing hard. That's my goal anymore, is to make as little mistakes as possible, but go as fast as I can. We're coming down here on the bottom. We're almost coming to the finish line. This right here, this route caught me goofy about every time, but that's the best. That's the best I think I ever went through there. But every time it about took me out, or felt like it wanted to take me out. But yeah, leave a comment. Make sure you like. And if you like racing dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, or if you've looking for a trail to go out or a ride park, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We are Trail Seeker Adventures. We bring the video camera out to every adventure that we go to, whether it's a ride park, a hiking trail, snowboarding, downhill mountain biking at Snowshoe Mountain, you name it. We bring the video camera, we get the information, bring it to you. That way you have that information, and it may just be something you want to do with your friends or family. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that way you won't miss our next event. Now this is the go around for the hill climb up behind where you got your vending, your pizza or whatever. I've never been around here. This is the first time they brought us around this side of the hill. Last year, or actually it was this year, the John Penton, we went up over the, I don't know if that's the Monster Mile, I don't know what they call it, Penton Hill or something. But they didn't take us up it this year. They brought us completely around the mountain, which was pretty cool. We had a couple little tricky off campers that you had to watch out for. There's Jared and my daughter rooted me on. Had several people throughout the track rooting me on this day, and that's always appreciative. Now we're coming down and finishing up lap 1, and I believe I come in 2nd place here, and I think I was a little less than a minute back. Actually, it shows me 37 seconds behind first. Not too shabby for getting nearly last off the start with the old 430, getting it figured out. Now I just got to keep pushing the throttle and trying to keep motivated. Whenever you see your class ahead of you and you've got somebody to follow, it's easy just to be motivated and keep the throttle twisted. Mr. Cheney rooted me on. But whenever say you're in the lead or whatever, or you're out here where there's nobody around, it's really hard to be motivated. So you try to catch the person ahead of you. This is one of the pro women. I obviously want to try to get around her as fast as possible without screwing us up, her up, or myself. So now I got around her, and now I want to look for the next person to try to, as soon as you see a little glimmer of somebody else out there, just let that be your motivation to try to catch that one and try to keep that throttle twisted. And this is still part of the lap. This is down below the old motocross track, right below tech inspection. We're not back to where we actually started yet. So I'm going to get you back to where we came onto the track, and then I'll show you some of the highlights of rest of my race day. This is one of the slickest areas. It's off camber, and the four-wheelers come around there and push all the stuff to the bottom. And if you don't stay down there in that cushion, it is very slick. I've seen several people slide around there on this weekend. Alright, so now this is where we came onto the track. I'm in second place. I'm rolling out through here pretty good. Feeling like I left my competition in the dust. And what do? I saw that there went second, or there went third, there went fourth, and now I'm back to fourth. Just like that. A little brain fart. You know, you follow these guys around and they're in front of you, and you think, oh, I'm faster than them. There's Austin rooting me on, trying to get me some fluids, which I really wanted it, but I seen Chuck up here in front of me, and I need to try to make a pass on him as fast as I can, because the field is the best place to make passes out here on this track, because it's wide enough to have different options. But it's, I don't know, you can comment also if my throat's getting a little dry. If when you catch somebody in your class and you're following them and they're like, you know, oh, I can go fast enough to pass them, you get around them like no problem at all, and then you're out there riding your race and you think you've left them behind because you're so fast. Their Mike Grizzle stopped. I think he got a drink or something. So that's one position back. Now Chuck's up here. He gets a little sideways there, and I come around the bottom, and I knew he was up top. It's a real risky move, but I'm down here in the cushion, and I think I can go faster. But I think he got a little nervous, and he was like, oh, whoa, you know, like he was coming in on me. But I get back around, I'm like, okay, no big deal. I got back around him, I'll just pull away from him. But no, that don't happen. We are within seconds the entire race until at least the last lap, and I started doing all my screw-ups. But yeah, it's kind of weird following somebody thinking you're so much faster than them until you get around them, and then they can't leave. Then you can't leave them. Coming out through there was a hole to the right. It wasn't this one. I don't think my video got it, but I messed up Chuck something awful. I think it might be the next lap through there. I come through there and my bike starts not liking hard hits. I hit that hole and it about makes me wreck. So not the last lap, but next to the last lap. I come through there and I didn't know he was on me. That I wasn't sure it was him at all. I just knew somebody was behind me. I come through there and I forgot about that hole. I hit the hole, or I come to the hole and I hit my brakes because I didn't want to crash. And he hits me and crashes. I cause him to crash. So I'm coming around. This is the start of lap 3. We made 5 laps. But I just want to apologize to Chuck if you watch this video. Sorry, bud. The reason I locked up the brakes there for a second because that bad spot about took me out the lap before. After I realized what happened, he hits me, and I thought we was going pretty fast. And I thought, oh crap, that's not good. So I'll stop and pull over, and I thought for sure he's going to be splattered out on the track. But I looked back, so he was picking his bike up, and so we got going again. But he gets back around me. I got this bike feeling pretty good, but just about a lap and a half, 2 laps to go, it was feeling like crap. It was blowing through the stroke, bouncing, pogoing me, something terrible. Yeah, I need to send this thing away and get some suspension work for sure on it. But just say my bad. Sorry about that. Austin giving me some race information. I really enjoyed this section. Let's Richie McCauley rooting me on there, the one and only. So this is the third lap. We start to get into some lappers pretty heavy. Let's just watch the old 4-stroke do what she does best. Eat up the mud. I have no idea what I was just saying, but basically the way my race went, I started out pretty much last on the old 430. That's nothing new. If anybody has any suggestions on how to get this thing to spin over a little faster, I greatly appreciate it on the old 110 beta 430. But I ran second for the first, I think, 3 laps. Actually, maybe the first 3 laps. But we were first place, which was the Kawasaki of David James. He was out all day. He was untouchable. He ended up first. I think he led every lap. He did leave every lap, and I was second every lap except for the last 2. Next to the last lap, I was third. Michael got around me. Actually, Michael and Chuck got around me, but then I got back around Chuck. And then on the last lap, Chuck got around me. And I made my bonehead moves. I caught him a few times, but just trying to force some passes in areas that probably shouldn't have forced. I dropped back to 4th, and that is where I finished. I believe I finished somewhere in the 30s in the overall, and I had an awesome day on the old beta 430. Got some things to get worked out. My shoulder is definitely feeling better, but about a lap and a half race to go. She was definitely hurting. But I'm getting better every time, getting a little stronger. I finished 36th overall. Not too bad considering, I'm not really used to these 2-hour things. I get up into the 20s, I'll feel better. Hopefully by the time we get over to the buckwheat, the shoulder will feel better, and I'll have the bike a little better figured out, and hopefully do a little better. But make sure you like and subscribe. We are Trail Seeker Adventures. We come out here and do this This is a race event. We do rod parks, hiking, mountain biking. But we want you to get all the information you can, so that way you can get out there in the garage, pick your weapon of choice, load it up, and get out here to the track. Thank you so much for watching. Just push the logo in the middle of the screen here, or watch another video. Thank you.